Hey everyone, welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Alyssa Ashe, and I am so excited to bring you a recap of President Trump's Europe tour. Now, this was a very busy week for the president, and he definitely ruffled some feathers. He started out in Brussels, Belgium for the NATO summit, and then he went to the UK, and then he had a little relaxing weekend at his golf courses in Scotland, and then of course he finished everything up in Helsinki, Finland, meeting with President Putin of Russia, which of course has had a variety of responses that I'm going to get to soon. But first I'm gonna kind of still give you guys a little bit more of an overview of everything before getting into each country he visited. And I have some videos and pictures to share with you guys as well from his trip. So it is definitely going to be a fun night. So we are fixing audio right now. It was the YouTube. Yeah. So it should be good now. Sorry about that, guys. And I am monitoring your comments as well. So thank you so much for watching and for your feedback. It is definitely my favorite part of this. So I'm going to make sure everything is muted. 1 second. Okay. We should be good now. Okay, you guys are saying it's good. Good. I'm glad. Sorry about that. So, first I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview, like I said, before getting into every specific country. And, of course, remember, if you have comments or questions, you can send them to my Twitter, at Alyssa RSBN, which I am going to show you guys right here. Here's my Twitter name, at Alyssa RSBN. And I already got one message from Swoosh for Trump, who said, please do a show tonight covering the various responses from the Trump-Putin summit, ranging from the rhino cucks to the lefties. They're all going nuts today. So Swoosh for Trump, yes, he definitely did ruffle some feathers, and I will be sharing some of those responses with you guys. And I see some of you saying you're watching Right Side and Hannity at the same time. I know I saw that he was on at 8 o'clock tonight, and I hate that I can't watch and broadcast at the same time too, but that'll be really good. I'm sure. I was watching Tucker Carlson a little bit earlier, and I'll share with you guys some of his remarks that he made. But first, to give you more of a little bit of an overview, and moving the chat over real quick so I can see everything. Thank you for your support, Beamer Boy, saying everyone pound that like button. Please do, and make sure to subscribe to us as well so you can get notifications, which should come most of the time. Sometimes they don't. We apologize for that. It can get really annoying, but for the most part, it should be fine. Sorry, back here messing things up. Joe's adjusting the camera right now. I don't like that cord hanging there. There we go. I know. How's that? Okay, good. I think I'm just a little too like in their face. Okay, how about now? Go in a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Good. Mm-hmm. Sorry, the cord was crazy. It's okay. He has OCD. He had to move the cord. So, moving on. And yes, I know, Sean, we are working on the lighting. I know it's a little washed out right now. Sorry about that, but we are working on it. It is, of course, a work in progress as we are still setting up my studio here. So, Tuesday, President Trump departed for the 7th foreign trip of his presidency, and he visited as you know, Western European countries, and then sat down for the one-on-one meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, in combining meetings with NATO and with a Russian head of state, now this is in past tense, he displayed two hallmarks of his foreign policies, which was getting tough on allies and trading partners over their defense spending, and opening the door to better relations with longtime adversaries like Russia, China, and North Korea. So kind of just a rundown. At first, as you know, and I'll get into some of the discussions and the transcripts later, but first was the NATO summit in Brussels, Belgium, where it was held last year as well. So it was one of the only two countries that President Trump has visited twice. And he did meet with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg before participating in these high-level discussions with the 28 allies on Wednesday. And sorry, I want to get this right for you guys. The U.S. ambassador of NATO, Kay Bailey Hutchinson, said that these meetings would focus on NATO's mission of countering Russia. And she said, our major areas of deterrence would be Russia and the malign activities of Russia, the efforts of Russia to divide our democratic nation, INF Treaty violations. And she told which she told reporters last week. And the U.S. has actually accused Russia of violating the INF Treaty, which generally forbids nuclear and conventional missiles in Europe. Now, the NATO summits also provide a venue of discussions for Georgia and the Ukraine, who are actually not NATO members, but they have sought protection from Russia, and with leaders of Afghanistan about the NATO strategy to defeat the Taliban there. So then President Trump moved on to London to visiting the UK, which was very special, his first time visiting the Queen. And I'll get into that a little bit more soon. And I will share pictures of that with you guys. And I see you, Mark Hannibal, commenting, they have gone too far with the cartoon. I rarely want to call for a boycott, but this one is a go. I definitely agree with you. It was way too far if by the cartoon you're referring to the baby Trump balloon that was over the streets of London. It was highly inappropriate, but of course, they didn't ask to be, but President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were kept far away for the protests just so that wouldn't interfere with their meeting. And of course, there were a lot of supporters there as well that were supporting President Trump that all came out with signs of just love and admiration. And of course, they were not shown on the mainstream media, but they were definitely there. And it looks like I got one Twitter message, so I'm going to check that real quick over here. And it's not showing your picture, but it is from KK at Common Sense, who is one of our moderators, right? Common Sense. On the website. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the same Common Sense or not, but was sending me a picture of the JFK Memorial, but the picture is not there, unfortunately. But thank you so much for sharing it. I greatly admire John F. Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy as well. They are two of my favorites. Anyways, so kind of moving on. Also, President Trump went to Scotland to his golf courses that he actually owns there. He actually owns two. He has the Trump International Golf Links in Aberdeen and then the Trump Turnberry in Ayrshire. And it's kind of you can think of it as his European Mar-a-Lago. And it was his getaway at his golf course that he actually owned in Scotland. And a British official, actually told reporters Friday that he would be staying in Turnberry. And he actually also has a family connection to Scotland. His mother, Mary Ann McLeod Trump, was born in the Western Isles and emigrated to the United States when she was just 18. Now, there were no official events on the schedule while he was in Scotland, but the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain, Woody Johnson, said that he would spend some time preparing for Helsinki. Now, before we get into the results, I'll tell you guys what was expected at the President Putin summit. So he had actually met with his counterpart, President Vladimir Putin, twice before, but those meetings were at gatherings of other world leaders, and they kind of met on the side, but they didn't have their own private meeting. So the Helsinki meeting was his first formal meeting with the Russian president, and he did hold this series of meetings with him. So, but the first was actually with their host, and President Trump and First Lady Melania continually thanked their host, and so did President Putin. They said that they were very hospitable to them, and they were very thankful that they were there and that they were able to just stay hold these meetings at the palace. And Helsinki, Finland actually has a history of having diplomatic meetings held there just because of how neutral they are. And so the first, of course, was with the Finnish president Sauli Niinisto, and it was followed by 3 back-to-back sessions with President Putin. And it was first was a one-on-one with a translator and note takers, and then there was a larger meeting with advisors, and then a working lunch. And it was, said by John Huntsman, who's actually the U.S. ambassador to Russia, what is important in all these cases is dialogue, and this can take many forms. But what is important here is that we start a discussion. And then he said the president has determined that now is the time for direct communication between himself and President Putin. And that is in the interest of the United States, in the interest of Russia, in the interest of peace and security around the world. And that is the way that he's proceeding. And then, of course, after this meeting with President Putin, he is heading back home to Washington, D.C. So we are going to take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry for the delay, and thank you so much for staying tuned. We had to fix our framing and lighting. Joe and I are very picky about that, so we had to fix it, and now you can see a little bit more color on my face. It's not perfect, but it is a little bit better. And we're collaborating. Texting him back right now. But anyways, thank you so much everyone for being here. And I see many of you saying that you were taking a Kit Kat break and that you need to donate Kit Kats to RSBN to Alyssa. And one second, I am checking something real quick, making sure we have no audio issues. Great Riffy is here. Thank you so much. And I just love your commodity and how you guys all just love each other and get to know each other in the chat room. It is just so much fun. Anyways, so remember, if you have any questions, you can comment them right here in the YouTube chat, or the way that you can make sure that I absolutely see them is if you send them to my Twitter, and I will show you my Twitter lower third right here. It's at Alyssa RSBN. So I'll leave that up for a second in case any of you guys would like to follow me or message me with questions just about his Europe tour, or anything you might want to know. And if it's something that I don't know right now, then I will get back to you later. So please feel free to message me any questions, of course, as long as they're appropriate. And yes, you can see Joe commenting right here. Sorry, y'all, that delay was my bad. Wanted to fix the darn mic cord and the lighting, but we are good now. Thank you so much, Joe. And also, I wanted to say, since I haven't yet, you were talking about donating Kit Kats, right? Which is a perfect transition for, well, what else can you donate to RSBN? Of course, your time and your views, but also your financial means. If that is something that's possible for you guys, we are not able to live and thrive on the air without your donations, and we're very thankful for each and every one of you. Yes, I see your comment, swoosh for Trump. Joe demands perfection. That is definitely true. But anyways, if you haven't been able to donate before, or you're confused as to how you can, I'm going to take a quick minute and show you before I get into more of the great information from President Trump's week in Europe. So let me pull that website up real quick on my other monitor, and I'll show it to you guys. Okay. Should be coming up. Yep, sorry about that. It takes a second because it's feeding in from a different computer. But anyways, you can't see it right now. I hate it when it does this, but so I just went to our website, rsbnetwork.com, and then on this top bar, there is a red bar above the white, which you are not able to see, but you just click donate right here. And it shows the different ways which you are able to donate. But I haven't even told you the easiest one that many of you are great at utilizing. You can donate right here on YouTube on the Super Chat. All you do is click the $, and you can donate any amount you want. Now, we do get to keep 70% of that, and YouTube keeps the other 30%. So while it is a really fun way to donate because, you know, we see your name and your comment and I shout it out to the world in a bright color, while it is a really fun way to donate, we don't get to keep most of it. We get to keep most of it with PayPal over here, which I'm going to show you guys. So you go to rsbnetwork.com, you can just go to our homepage and click donate, or you can go to rsbnetwork.com/donate and get here as well. So you click the PayPal link right here, and then you can enter the amount that you want to give. You can click if you want to make it a monthly donation, if there are any special instructions. And if you're using a debit or credit card, you enter that, your billing address, of course, and your contact information. I see your comment, Mark the Vegas Gamer. Have you guys considered BitChute? We have not, but we will definitely have to look into that. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. So also, another fun way you can donate, you can actually become a patron on patreon.com. Now that is Patreon with an E, patreon.com/RSBN if you're getting to it separately from the RSBN website. And so you can become a patron, and then it is really fun if you're donating on Patreon. You can receive different things like hats and mugs and, you know, stickers, pens, pencils, just different things so that you'll think of RSBN throughout the day and, you know, be able to watch us and remember us. And also, we just got a $49.99 donation from Not Sure. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you, and we are not able to do it without you. So thank you so much for your donation. And I know that you were here yesterday as well, donating a lot. So thank you for your contributions. We really, really appreciate you. And you can see our fantastic moderators thanking you for donating, and just wanted to say a quick shout out to our mods. Thank you so much for all that you do. All of our moderators here on YouTube, Real Frank in Florida, Barbara Braley, Guinevere, DM, and JC, of course, and so many of you that always keep the chat fun and friendly and clean, of course. And then thank you also our moderators on our website, Common Sense and Glenn O. We really appreciate you, and you're just two people with a huge task and always responding and giving information to our viewers' comments. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate you so much. And I haven't shared with you guys yet the very last way that you can donate. If you're not comfortable paying online, we totally respect that because, you know, a lot of people have had issues paying online before. Well, not with us, but I just mean in general, like credit card scams and stuff. So some people are not comfortable paying online, but typically when that happens, it gets resolved. But not to go into a rabbit trail about all of that. Anyways, if you would like to send a check to our address, it's RSBN 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama 36830. And I did memorize that to say it at rallies. Thank you so much, Tom O'Neill, one of our other fantastic reporters, for encouraging me to memorize that. He always said it super quick, and I wanted to be just like him. So that's why I memorized it. But anyways, so those are the different ways you can donate. And of course, if you have any issues donating or any questions about it at all, please message me on Twitter and I can clear that up for you. Checking my Twitter right now just to make sure that none of you have. Anyways, if you would like shared anything, I see one of you retweeting this stream, so thank you very much for that. I really appreciate you. which reminds me I need to retweet it as well. Do that real quick. Okay, and sometimes as I'm clicking through different videos and showing you guys stuff, which I'm about to get to, sharing you some videos, which will be one of the, of course, more fun parts, and you hear double audio, please let me know right here, and we will fix that. Also, just got a $3.99 donation from Devo. Thank you so much for that. You did donate as well a lot yesterday and over the last few days, so thank you for that. And we just got 2020 from Mark Hannibal. Thank you very much for that, who says, just keep being Trump. And one of you, Orbit Corkra, said, is Trump back home? Let me check on that for you because I'm not sure. My last update. Okay, James Wolfe is saying that he is back in the USA now. Thank you so much, James. And it was so great meeting you at one of our rallies recently. That was so much fun. Such a blessing always to meet our viewers and to meet our supporters. I'm very thankful for you guys. We can't do this without you, and it really just invokes that sense of family when we're able to meet you. And so if you're ever at a Trump rally, please find us and we will interview you and you can be on the channel, and it will just be such an absolute blast. And I'm going to head back over here. I'm going to show you guys some of those videos I was telling you about. Okay. So let me switch it over, and hopefully the sound should be okay. Let me know if it's not, and I'll get that taken care of. So this is when President Trump and Melania Trump, First Lady, arrived at Blenheim Palace in the UK, and they were greeted by Prime Minister Theresa May and her husband. And this is from BBC News.
The presidents has she met? Do you know? I mean, I think there's only one, am I right? LBJ that she didn't
She
meet.
certainly didn't meet Lyndon Johnson, but she has, I think, a remarkable track record going right back to Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Kennedys, the Reagans, the Clintons. She has met American presidents going back throughout her entire reign. There's no doubt about it. Some people are rather apprehensive about this meeting, but the Queen, of course, has a great track record of being able to put up with very, very difficult visitors, not least of which is Donald Trump, of course.
Yeah, so the president just getting out. As driver there. These are, of course, the special service personnel who are just going to...
It's important to note, this car cannot be opened from the inside. The car can only be opened from the outside. It cannot be opened from the inside at all. It requires someone to stand outside and actually open the door. So heavy is it, designed to withstand all kinds of assault from the exterior. It is effectively a tank that looks like a car.
Donald Trump coming outside to greet Theresa May, the First Lady Melania Trump coming around the side of the car.
So you can just see they received a warm embrace there. And Prime Minister May and Melania
friendly smiles,
Trump,
although it has been perhaps a little bit of a difficult day in terms of what Donald Trump has said about Boris Johnson, about Brexit, about the government's new plan for Brexit. But at the moment, all smiles, and it looks like Philip May is pointing out some of the finer points of Blenheim Palace there. James, how many American presidents have been to Blenheim Palace?
And you can see they are just entering the
We don't know. Do we know how many presidents? I think he's the first, is he?
I mean, he might well be. Certainly, it's a remarkable opportunity for Blenheim Palace to show itself off. And I think what's interesting here is you're seeing all the facets of the special relationship on display. The heritage, the history, the trade talks that are going to be going on, the joint military exercise tomorrow that are going to be witnessed by the President and the Prime Minister before the meeting at Chequers. If you want to understand the special relationship, look no further than the itinerary for this meeting and this trip, I think, by the president, which I think encompasses every single element of that relationship, which is going to continue irrespective of who the president or the prime minister is at any one given moment.
And there they go, up the red carpet, up the steps into Blenheim Palace. It's quite interesting. There was just a little shot there where he held a hand. We remember the shot of them holding hands at the White House.
Photo op.
Let's just listen to the anthems which are about to play.
And we just received a $2 donation from Manning Luck. Thank you so much for that. He says, hey, 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 hashtag RSBN, hashtag MAGA. Thank you very much for your donation. We really appreciate you. We're not able to do it without you guys. I know I say that a million times, but I really mean it. So you can just see the troops welcoming the leaders. Sorry guys, I am just double checking Facebook and making sure everything was good. I wasn't sure about that Facebook stream, but it is fine. Also, hello to all of our viewers on Facebook. Sorry if I haven't shouted out and interacted with you guys as much tonight. It can be a little tricky to have a million web pages up, but I'm doing my best. Okay, and we just got a $24.99 donation from Holy Moly Donut Shop. What a fun name. I totally want to go there. Who said good job, buddy. Thank you so much for that, friend. Really appreciate your donation. And since we are on the topic of the UK, I want to show you guys another video what President Trump said about the UK, something positive despite all of the protests, and then I'll share some information with you guys as well. Also, a good comment from Moonman Huckabee Sanders. He said, "We are making many positive strides, but we have a long fight ahead of us and a long way to go." I completely agree. Thank you so much, Moonman, for that. And you can see, of course, Holy Moly, our moderators, love you as well. Real Frank, sharing the fun little donut. You're making me hungry, Real Frank. Okay, I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Brexit is, I've been reading a lot about Brexit over the last couple of days, and it seems to be turning a little bit differently, where they're getting at least partially involved back with the European Union. I have no message. It's not for me to say. I own a lot of property there. I'm going to Scotland while I wait for the meeting. I have Turnberry in Scotland, which is a magical place, one of my favorite places. I'm going there for 2 days while I wait for the Monday meeting. But it's not for me to say what they should be doing in the UK. I have great friendships. My mother was born in Scotland. I have great friendships over there. I'd like to see them be able to work it out so it could go quickly, whatever they work out. I believe that the people in the UK, Scotland, Ireland, as you know, I have property in Ireland, I have property all over. I think that those people, they like me a lot, and they agree with me on immigration. And I think that's why you have Brexit in the first place, because of immigration. Yes, ma'am.
So that was from the British publication The Sun. Thank you for that. And you can see President Trump just continually saying, I think the UK likes me a lot, which is true that there are a number of people there that do like him. And Tricky Vicky, thank you for your comment. She says Trump and Melania are treated like royalty. Nice to see. Yes, they definitely were. And guys, remember to share this stream if you have not yet. I am going to real quick on my Facebook as well, because I haven't yet. Posting on my own timeline. And it looks like we just got a $299 donation from Breaking Now. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate your donation. And a funny comment from the British Patriot, who says Trump should have stayed in my house instead of going to Scotland. That is funny. And another $4.99 donation from Breaking Now. Thank you very much for that. Who says, can I use y'all's videos and reuse them on my page? You can't use them and reuse them, but you can definitely share them with our name on them, Right Side Broadcasting Network, just to help get the word out there and to share us with the world, and, you know, of course, so that we get credit as well. And let me see, jumping over here now. Yes, and I see Martin Marbles commenting, share the stream. Martin, thank you so much for being a regular viewer. It is always great to see you in the chat room. Okay, so this is kind of a background and a timeline of President Trump in the UK, since we are on the topic of his UK visit right now. So he actually arrived at the Stansted Airport on Air Force One, of course, before being flown by helicopter to the Winfield House, which was the home of the U.S. ambassador in London. And so you might be asking, if you're not sure and if you haven't been able to keep up with everything, and if you weren't watching those streams this past weekend, what has he done in the UK? What did he do? So he was treated to a lavish dinner and actually a concert at Blenheim Palace, which was Winston Churchill's birthplace. And there was a really fun picture too of President Trump sitting in Winston Churchill's chair. And so if you haven't seen that, I want to share it with you guys real quick. But first, we just got a $9.99 donation from Farty Britches. Thank you so much from that. Who says good morning from Azerbaijan. Wow. You are definitely far away today, but thank you for your donation. It's good to see you in the chat room. Haven't seen you since like rallies, and so it's so good to see you. So here is President Trump sitting in Winston Churchill's chair, and you can see he is posing just like he posed as well, just like Winston Churchill posed. So a lot of people really got a kick out of this. I'll leave it up for a second. Bring it down just so you can see a little bit better. And so, like I mentioned earlier, President Trump and First Lady Melania were kept away from the protests in London, and they were the guests of honor, around 100 guests, in the spectacular setting of the Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire. And then, after spending the night actually at the U.S. Ambassador London's his residence in Winfield House in Regent Park, the president visited Sandhurst with Theresa May on Friday. And I'm just going to switch back real quick. And I do have some more fun videos to show you later, so please stay tuned for those. So also President Trump and Prime Minister May, and I believe her husband, and Melania as well, they actually played checkers, and there was a fun video I watched earlier on YouTube of First Lady Melania beating the Prime Minister's husband at checkers, which was very entertaining, and you could just see all the children kind of, and you could hear them cheering as well. And then after this, you know, they had their famous press conference, which we streamed recently, and then Theresa May, she didn't travel north of the border, but Downing Street insisted that the president would still be a guest of the UK government during his entire trip. Now, of course, he was challenged whether there was an avoid London strategy because of these protests, but of course that was not his event. That was not his end goal. And you may ask, who's paying for this trip? Well, the British government actually offered to pay up to 5 million euros in policing costs when President Trump goes golfing in Scotland. And Treasury Secretary Liz Truss wrote to Scottish ministers to inform they would foot any police costs, which is very nice, very hospitable, very warm, just because he really needed that extra security because there were so many protesters. But there was a little bit of opposition because the country's new Justice Secretary, Humza Yousaf, said it was completely unacceptable to expect Scottish taxpayers to cover the bill. And you may be wondering, okay, he's going to the UK now, finally meeting the Queen, finally meeting and having a press conference with Prime Minister Theresa May, but why didn't he go before? Why did he cancel in February? Well, it was because it was revealed that his visit had been delayed until now to avoid protests and MPs snubs. You know, also they agreed to postpone it until later, which was originally supposed to be autumn, but then it was this summer. It was this summer. It was being postponed again. He wanted to come until people support him coming to the UK. And there were a lot of people that were supporting him as well. And so that was very great to see. Also, thank you so much. One of our regulars, Stephen John Asante, just gave a $9.99 donation. Thank you so much. He said, I asked you to come down to Houston. I'll do an interview with you. I'm a big star on TLC. And I know that Joe has watched your show before. He said, good ratings. Have your boss check his email. Thank you so much for donating and for reaching out as well, Stephen John Asante. We really appreciate you. Okay. So I told you guys a little bit about the UK, but then backing it up, even before that, I want to give you more information on what happened at NATO. So I have some text here actually from the official NATO website that I want to share with you guys in just one second. Okay, so it's the opening remarks by the NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg at the meeting of the North Atlantic Council at the level of heads of state and government in resolute support format, which was the NATO summit in Brussels. So the opening remarks, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said, "So dear friends, we are ready to start and welcome to this meeting. Good afternoon to all of you. We are all committed to the long-term security and stability of Afghanistan because an Afghanistan free of international terrorism is in the interest of our own security. Today, we will review the challenges and the progress made, and we will take decisions regarding our continued support. Thousands of personnel from 41 NATO allies and partners are part in our resolute support mission, training the Afghan security forces across the country. Afghan forces are doing an outstanding job. They have been in the lead for 3 years now, and they are increasingly professional and effective. We have seen other remarkable developments. President Ghani has made a bold offer of peace talks to the Taliban, followed by the Eid ceasefire. This is a brave and unprecedented gesture which we fully support. The reason for NATO's presence in Afghanistan is to help create the conditions for an inclusive peace agreement. There will be a victory for all Afghans. Now, let me thank the media for being here at the opening part of the session. We'll continue in a moment. Thank you." So that was his opening discussion. And then he also had some remarks with the president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And all right, I will tell you guys what he said to him as well. So, Secretary General Stoltenberg said, "President Poroshenko, dear Petro, it's really a great pleasure to see you again, and thank you for coming here to the NATO summit and taking the time to meet all the NATO leaders. Welcome to Brussels and also to the new NATO headquarters. This morning we'll discuss, together with President Margvelashvili of Georgia, the security situation in and around Ukraine, defense reforms, and our practical cooperation. NATO is firm in our support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and we strongly condemn Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea. In eastern Ukraine, the situation remains serious, with repeated violations of the ceasefire and human rights every day. The Minsk agreements remain the path to peace. So all parties need to implement their commitments, and Russia has a special responsibility. It must withdraw its troops and its supports for militants in Ukraine. Mr. President, Ukraine's long-term goal is to join the alliance. The focus now is on reforms. You are making important progress. The adoption of a new law on national security is a welcome step. The law is key to establish civilian control and democratic oversight over the armed forces and the security services. The implementation of the law is now necessary so that this reform can take effect. So I encourage you to keep up the momentum. This will bring Ukraine closer to NATO, but above all, it will strengthen your security and your democracy. NATO and allies continue to support the reform process by providing advice, training, and equipment. The comprehensive assistance package of political and practical measures is also part of this support, and it includes expert advisors in the Kiev and projects in areas like cyber defense, medical rehabilitation, and logistics. So, President, we deeply appreciate Ukraine's contributions to NATO, from Kosovo to Afghanistan and in the NATO response force. Over 20 years of NATO-Ukraine distinctive partnership has contributed to Euro-Atlantic security, and I want to thank you personally for your commitment to deepening these ties between Ukraine and the alliance. I look forward to an excellent meeting this morning, so once again, welcome. So that is that transcript there, in case you were wondering, or that was something that you were unable to see, because unfortunately we were unable to stream all of the meetings inside of NATO. And I'm going to check our Facebook as well, just to make sure that there are not any comments that I've missed. Of NATO. Let's see. Going up to the top here. But of course, if there are some that stick out to me, I will definitely watch. Also, one of my friends from school commented, Gaspar Mendez, go Alyssa Ashe, keep up the good work, bud. Thank you so much, Mendez. If you are still watching, I really appreciate you. It's so good to see people I know in here. Okay, and I see some of you watching from North Carolina, Florida, all over the place. Thank you all for tuning in. I still have a lot more to share with you guys. And one more transcript from NATO. And let's see, I see your comment, W13RD guy. You should lose the green screen and just go with a bookcase or just some shelves. We had that kind of in headquarters in Joe's studio, and we just finished setting up my studio. So I hope that you enjoy this, and I am going to try to do different backgrounds that go along with different broadcasts. This one kind of is just our default, but I really like it. I think it's nice, but thank you so much for your suggestion. We always welcome suggestions. And also, so in case you're wondering what the concluding transcript is, and I'm not going to read all the dialogue, but I will tell you Jens Stoltenberg's statement at the conclusion of the Brussels summit. In 1 second. Okay. He said, "Good afternoon. We have had a very good summit. Over the past 2 days, we have taken major decisions to strengthen NATO's deterrence and defense, to step up in the fight against terrorism, and to ensure a fair burden sharing among all allies. I told you earlier this week that I had expected frank discussions on burden sharing, and that's exactly what we had. This is what we do among friends and allies." I see some of you saying you are having some buffering pauses. Let me know if you're all experiencing that. I apologize for that. Anyways, back to the concluding statement. "All allies have heard President Trump's message loud and clear. We understand that this American president is very serious about defense spending, and this is having a clear impact. After years of decline, when allies were cutting billions, now they are adding billions. Before, the trend was down, now the trend is up. In fact, since President Trump took office, European allies and Canada have added an additional $41 billion to their defense spending. And all allies have committed to raise this number substantially. And so we are stepping up as never before, allowing U.S. spending to go down. There is a new sense of urgency due to President Trump's strong leadership on defense spending. Today, all allies agreed to redouble their efforts, and this will make NATO stronger. All allies are committed to NATO. And that was very clear from the 29 leaders around the table today. Because NATO is good for Europe and it is good for North America. 2 world wars and a Cold War have shown us that we are stronger together than apart. The only time NATO invoked our collective defense clause, Article 5, was after the 9/11 attacks on the United States. As a result, hundreds of thousands of European and Canadian soldiers have stood shoulder to shoulder with America in Afghanistan. Over 1,000 have paid the ultimate price. Moreover, the U.S. presence in Europe is vital for the projection of U.S. power to Africa, Asia, and the Middle East to prevent turmoil there from reaching our shores. And European forces, infrastructure, and intelligence also help protect the U.S. as we all face a more assertive Russia. In short, NATO is a force multiplier for the U.S. And despite our differences, we are all doing more together for our security. And quick interruption, we just got a $2.99 donation from Little Lord Fauntleroy, appreciating that we have good audio tonight. So thank you so much for that, Little Lord. We really appreciate that. Also from W13RD Guy, I really love your comment. I really enjoy the multitasking going on here. She's reporting, producing, researching all at once. Yes, I am. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. It is a lot, just kind of managing everything and all the different screens, making sure that everything looks good, sounds good, and that I have the right information. And yes, you can see Joe commenting here as well. It ain't easy, goes against everything she was trained. No scriptedness or teleprompters here. Very true. Thank you so much, Joe. And he corrected himself. Prompters, yes. So I'm going to keep reading to you this, what I think honestly is just a really beautiful concluding statement. And let's see. He said, at this summit, we decided to raise the readiness of our forces, to increase our ability to move them across the Atlantic within Europe, to modernize our command structure, and to set up a new cyber operations center and counter-hybrid support teams. We also decided to boost NATO's contribution to the fight against terrorism with a new training mission in Iraq, more support for Jordan and Tunisia, a fully operational hub for the South, and a package of additional measures for the South. And we made clear NATO's door remains open by inviting the government in Skopje to start accession talks. And then he kind of moved along and he said, today we also decided to sustain our presence in Afghanistan until conditions indicate a change is appropriate, and we extend our financing for Afghan security forces through 2024. Many of you are saying it's buffering. Let me check. Okay. Looks okay right now. Checking right now. Kind of keeps going in and out, so I apologize for that. Should be okay right now. And I see your comment, Orbit Corkra, leftist zappers messing with my feed. You are too funny. And then he moved on and said, this will help them further develop their special forces and air force as they continue to fight international terrorism. We also expressed strong support for President Ghani's bold peace proposal, and our continued commitment will strengthen Afghanistan in its efforts to create the conditions for lasting peace and reconciliation. And then he said, we also met with the presidents of Georgia and Ukraine, which I mentioned earlier in his opening statement. And he said, together we discussed shared concerns, including Russia's threats to their sovereignty and territorial integrity. Today we agreed to continue working together to prepare Georgia for NATO membership and to step up our support in areas like crisis management and training exercises. We recognize the significant progress on reforms which Georgia has made, and we appreciate Georgia's major contributions to our mission in Afghanistan. We stand by our earlier decisions in light of Ukraine's aspirations to join the alliance. We look forward to further progress in Ukraine's reforms and will continue to extend political and practical support as the country faces an active conflict. And then finishing up before he went into the questions, and won't get into those just quite yet, but I'll share with you guys his last statements. And hey, Katie, thank you so much for joining, one of my best friends from back in college. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. He said, last night we discussed major global security challenges together with the presidents of the European Council and Commission and our colleagues from Finland and Sweden. We addressed the challenges from the Middle East and North Africa, the situation on the Korean Peninsula, and a more assertive Russia. NATO remains committed to our dual-track approach to Russia, defense and dialogue. We continue to aspire to a constructive relationship when Russia's actions make that possible. And so that kind of concludes that. I may or may not share all of these questions with you guys. We will get to that. And let me see. I don't know why it's doing that buffering tonight. I really apologize. That is very frustrating. Let me text Joe real quick and see if he has any tips to fix it. Okay. I will try to get that fixed ASAP. And I see your comment, the British Patriot, who says YouTube working overtime to censor RSBN. That is possible. Really hope not. I don't think so, but I don't know. It looks like Facebook is fine. It might just be YouTube that is doing that. So I apologize for that. And also shout out to some of the Facebook viewers, more friends from school tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Abigail Hastings, Christian Richter, Anthony Carndale, Katie Causey, Pedro Mateo, and Connor Hash. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys and hope that you're doing well. And we're trying to get these buffering issues fixed. Let me check something real quick. Okay, it was a setting that we had clicked on YouTube because we did the single use variable resolution stream. We need to do the multi-use stream, and it'll be fine next time. So YouTube switched everything up on us, and we were not aware of that, so apologize for that. Just stay tuned for this broadcast, and the next broadcast it will be fixed. So don't worry about that in the future. Also, I do have a couple more videos to share with you guys. I'm going to get ready over here. And of course, remember, if you have any comments or questions, anything that you want to ask about President Trump's Europe tour or anything else about news or politics that I can help you with, I will show you my Twitter handle right here. Is at Alyssa RSBN. And so if you would like to reach out to me on Twitter, that's how you do it. You can just do a direct message on there. If you don't have a Twitter, of course, YouTube is great as well. I see all of your comments in the chat and try to keep up with them. And I try to keep up with them on Facebook as well. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys now those other videos that I have for you guys. Pulling them up right now. Now, there were a lot of different responses, even some negative responses to President Trump's summit with President Putin. And some Republican leaders, such as Newt Gingrich and John McCain, did not agree with him. So I'm going to show you their tweets first. I know Swoosh for Trump and some of the other viewers were asking for those reactions. So I'm going to show those tweets to you guys. And then one leader that actually did support President Trump was Senator Rand Paul. And so I have a video actually that I'm going to show you as well. Wow, also we just received a $100 donation from Kanye West, who says support free thought. Wow, Kanye, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you and all of your support. I can see your great picture there with your Make America Great Again hat on. Thank you so much for your support. So first, let me pull up these tweets for you guys. First, we have Newt Gingrich over here, and sorry if let me scroll down so I'm not blocking that. Okay, well, I will just read it to you. Sorry, my little screen's blocking you a little bit. But he said President Trump must clarify his statements in Helsinki on our intelligence system and Putin. It is the most serious mistake of his presidency and must be corrected immediately. So this tweet kind of went viral. It was already on Fox News tonight. And then also another one that was big was Senator McCain's statement. He said today's press conference in Helsinki was one of the most disgraceful performances by an American president in memory. The damage inflicted by President Trump's naivety, egotism, false equivalence, and sympathy for autocrats is difficult to calculate, but it is clear the summit in Helsinki was a tragic mistake. Now, I do not think that it was a tragic mistake, and I know you may not be asking for my opinion, but one second, I'm going to check something for you guys. It looks like we're having some screen issues. Okay, it looks like we have a black screen right now. Crap. Oh, okay, guys, I am back. So sorry for that. We just had a black screen come out of nowhere, and that was something on YouTube's part. So sorry, that really scared me. Anyways, but we are back up, good to go. Thank you for staying. Yeah, it was definitely a YouTube issue. I see your comment, Trade King, disturbing that the Periscope stream on Twitter is perfectly fine, but we are back up now. So we're good now. So sorry about that. Anyways, so I was reading to you, telling you McCain's statement, and I have something. Yeah, I agree with you. British Patriot. I was told YouTube was working overtime to censor RSBN. I really hope not. But they may have been oh, great. Can you hear me when it's black? Is it black right now? For all of you watching on Facebook, Twitter, we do apologize right now. We are having a black screen issue on YouTube, so we are trying to get that resolved. So for those of you on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, stay tuned. We are trying to get a solution because right now we have this black screen on YouTube. Let's see. Thank you for your comment, Tom. It looks like it's back. Just a little bit pixelated. I think it's buffering. Okay. But if you are watching on here and it's pixelated or blurry, we really apologize for that. You can, and I think it's buffering again. I'm so sorry. But you can also, of course, watch on our website, rsbnetwork.com, and which might be okay. Let me check that. Not sure because I think it's connected to the YouTube actually. No. Okay, double checking. Looks like we're good right now. Guys, I really apologize for all the issues and all of the black screens tonight. It is definitely a YouTube thing. But while we are still up, okay, it looks like it is a little bit clearer now. Okay, while I still can, I want to show you guys this video of Rand Paul in defense of President Trump. One second. So we're still over here.
We should be engaged with Russia. We should have conversations with Russia. We have serious conflicts in various parts of the globe. It would be a mistake not to have open lines of communication with them. And I can tell you what I have told the Russians who are here in the United States when I've conversed with them. Hacking into the election, if they did it, and in all likelihood the evidence looks like they did, it has backfired because it's made relations worse. And so if they want to have better relations, there should be a great deal of incentive as time goes on for them not to do it again because it's made relations so much worse.
So you guys have recently started dating.
So you could see him there just defending the president and saying how, you know, the dialogue is definitely a good thing and very important. So it was good to see at least one supporter of the president tonight. And checking over here to Facebook, want to make sure I didn't miss any of your comments. Yes, and I really like your comment, Angela Ray. She said Donald Trump is not in a popularity contest. He's doing all of this because he's a patriot and loves our country. And Roger Vega said Rand is an honest man. And Tom O'Neill, so glad to have you in the chat room, one of our fantastic reporters and a fan favorite. And let me see. I want to make sure there's nothing that nothing that I missed. And yes, Angela Ray, we were talking about Rand Paul. Want to make sure there's nothing I missed. But of course, I do apologize. And I know you guys are telling me you're all so sweet. Don't apologize for YouTube. But I do apologize for the black screen because that was very frustrating and threw me off a little bit. But, you know, stuff like that happens and you just have to keep going sometimes. We are a smaller network. You know, we're not CBS, we're not Fox News, we're not MSNBC, we're not ABC. We are RSBN and we're just real people telling you the news. And it was really cool because our CEO, Joe Seals, actually had, you know, a vision to just go and start by sending cameramen to these rallies all around the country. And that's how RSBN actually got big, was by going and showing the crowds at different rallies. We, for those of you watching on other socials, just got another black screen on YouTube. Sorry about that. Yes, guys, I don't know if you can hear me on YouTube, but I really am sorry it keeps doing this black screen. This is the first time that this has ever happened to me before. Okay, and we're back up for a quick minute. So while I am on YouTube, unfortunately, just because of this, we're not going to be able to keep streaming anymore tonight. But I just wanted to say thank you so much, all of you, for joining and for being here tonight. I really appreciate all of you and your love and support and just being a part of the RSBN family. And I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with less issues. Have a great night. I'm Alyssa Ashe with RSBN.